Hello everybody, hope you're doing well. Welcome to another edition of the MCN, your Friday edition. This is your 3 days before Christmas Day edition. And in any case, we've got a lot to go over. And this will be focused, obviously, we go to the forums, we see what Kabam responding to. But I think this is important for this particular video to focus on the live stream Kabam did yesterday, because so much information came from that I think that is just so important to go over. Of course, for this particular video, we won't be I won't be able to show any visuals, because it was just a case of, you know, Kabam Jax and Kabam Mike responding to everybody when it comes to questions. So what I've done is I put in the description information from what was said. So let's go back, and I'll tell you at what time frame Kabam mentioned something. So around about, oh yeah, by the way, first of all, Kabam do say that a Summoner's Choice 2024 is coming, so that's going to be probably announced next month. So about the 20 minutes and 30 seconds mark, Kabam Mike says that there's talks at the moment about the Solo Crystal. As a lot of you have known for a while and been aware, the Solo Crystal is kind of going away from relevancy. I still love it for boosts, arena boosts, standard boosts. That's really it. Anything else is kind of like, did I actually need it? But yeah, there is talk about that down the line at some stage. So fingers crossed for that. And apparently it will be a case that it will be resources will be put in, but there's no timeline for any of the talk and kind of further clarification. So that's something as well to mention. Around about the 21:50 mark, kind of round about there, Kabam have clarified the situation of 6-star Magic and 6-star Quake. Of course, for a lot of players, I mean, like myself, we've got the heyday of the delightful Magic, who I've got right here and ascended, and of course, you know, Quake is a 5-star you can ascend as well. I've actually, you know, had a bit of issues with this being put as a defender, but look, this was further talked about by Kabam Mike as to why the champions, those two champions mentioned, have not been 6-star, and it's really interesting because it was said that this would impact on Ascension. So one of the big things coming up to the Ascension's release was that if they put in 6-star versions of Quake and Magic, you've basically broken the game by having these in. Kind of on the level of like Hercules maybe, but that's going to be like my kind of rough assessment on that one. It's also something that's still kind of like up for discussion, and Kabam Mike is interested with finding from the community what's the sentiment, thought processes around those two champions coming into game, and especially as 6-star, because look, if they get put in, it is going to cause problems. And look, we had enough problems with Hercules being a champion in this game, being as powerful as he is. So of course this is going to go probably the same route. If the champions did get put in, there's more than likely a high chance that these champions will be nerfed in some sort of respect. So the damage potential and ceiling they could have is not going to be representative of where, you know, they should be, so to speak. So that's something again to kind of like bear in mind if they were ever, you know, to be put in. I think that's really it with that. There's also talk on the 24th minute mark. Kabam talk about Iron Man. As a lot of you know, the Iron Man buff that came in was very unique, and it was a very rare experience for this champion to get a special treatment. Essentially what it did was it kind of like stopped Kabam basically earning money for half. Because basically with new champions, you know, 2 new champions, they make money. They don't make money if one of the champions players already have. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a good thing. But what I'd say is like it's different to allow it, because there's pressures from, like, you know, Netmarble shareholders, a former Netmarble CEO that's probably got ties with Netmarble as is, so they're under pressures. Like, this isn't just about the development team, this isn't about the community managers. They're under pressures to make money, which, look, again, not a good thing, not a bad thing, it's a thing. Yeah, but in any case, like, Kabam they are still talking about the idea of bringing that kind of theory back to 2024, that it could have 1 month where one champion is a brand new champion, the other champion is a significant buff champion with a lot of hoopla-dee-da and kind of, everybody loving it. So we'll have to kind of find out, because they're still discussing it apparently on that one. Really interesting on the 26th minute mark. At the 26th minute mark, we learned something pretty incredible. I mean, first of all, we learned that the Cyclops that Kabam Miike loves is the new Xavier School one, which is in game, which is... I haven't even ranked them up, but there he is. This version of Cyclops, not the other one. Weird that. But the thing is, the character is actually pretty cool. If you know the new Xavier School version, or from the comic book version, the Marvel Now version, or whatever you refer it to as, the evil version of Cyclops, then you know how cool this particular version of the character actually is. The other really weird thing as well is that Kabam Miike goes to the same gym as James Marsden, who played Cyclops, which is again a very strange thing, but then it's cool to kind of like learn that. Oh, and also Kabam Miike was an extra in X-Men 3 or X3. Again, another kind of weird thing I didn't know, but I guess that's it's cool to find out these particular little nuggets of information. So around about the 30-minute mark, quick kind of like, well, explanation from Kabam about departments. It's always interesting. As somebody that worked for a games developer for 1 and a bit years, nearly 2 years actually, one of the main things was like departmentizing stuff. So a lot of times, like when people say, oh, this was fixed in the game really early and really quickly because it benefits this, but when it takes you longer to deal with this, the problem is it's just like different things take different times. Like my job was game capture artist, I was the only game capture artist for the games developer I worked for. So it'd be weird to go, well, Rich, we need this particular video done to showcase this to the publishers. It would be weird for another person to essentially do that, especially if we're trying to show off something. It may be a case they did do that, like other developers did actually do things with different departments going like, okay, well, here's a map. But what my job was to do was kind of like make stuff look good. And then we would be like, well, we've got theoretically blocks and broken bits, and I basically had to kind of make stuff look to our publishers like that we were making the best game ever, and to make sure that we were kind of continued funding and stuff like that, until the publisher cut funding to everything, literally everything, when the massive layoffs came. It is what it is. But look, it's always interesting to kind of like see these explanations. Moving on, and about the 44th minute, and because a lot of this stuff is like, recalling a lot of stuff that Kabam did. But around about the 44-minute mark, Kabam say that Act 8 ends on a cliffhanger and could go into Act 9, or either Book 2 ends and starts with Book 3. So that kind of gives you an idea of the story. I mean, here's the thing, like, I've been kind of like unsure about how the story goes, because here's the thing, it goes weird. Like, it goes weird from a story perspective, especially because we've got this new Punisher in, which, let's face it, is more than likely going to be the Act 8.4 boss ender. So where the Chrono Serpent lives is in all this, I don't know. There's a lot of questions than answers at this given time, but we must move on to other subjects. So 45th minute mark, Kabam Miike clarifies on Masteries 2.0. So it's still in the works, but it's very long in the kind of like development stage. There's obviously things that have gone well, not well, and Kabam have basically said that, and Mike and Jackson said they don't really want to kind of like announce stuff or tease stuff without kind of more info as to like it's actually going to happen, mainly because I think we've been here before several times where we've just kind of got too hyped on stuff. So there may be an update coming in the new year, but again, like, it's all about having substantial information to kind of give people an idea, especially because the Wish Crystal, which looked like it was going to be developed, was and it's done. There's no Wish Crystal. We've kind of got there with Nexuses and Abyss level Nexuses and stuff like that. And also, Masteries 2.0 will cost you in units, so save your units, get farming units and stuff like that. At the 48th minute mark, relics are mentioned, and there is more relics on the way. Happy days for those that like them. I'm, in a weird hipster way, getting into them, and that's something that I think is like, after a while, I'm just like, okay, well, I've had them drummed into me. I still forget to put them on when I'm recording videos and making videos, so they haven't essentially won over me. It's just a case of like, I've just got to, something else I've got to remember, and something else I've got to rank up, and something else I've got to then set different runes to. So yes, it's just still a fun thing even. On the 49th minute, it was mentioned Battlegrounds issues with being the first to pick, and how that's randomized is not feeling randomized, and how the development team behind Battlegrounds and stuff are looking to look at that, because how they've kind of looked at it is, well, it doesn't feel like it's randomized, and people have come up with information and, you know, evidence to say, well, they've been picking a chunk of times. And they're also going to look at a theory whether or not picking first equals a larger chance of you losing versus picking last and have a more substantial chance of winning. So they're going to look at that and algorithms behind it. On about the 50th minute mark, Kabam Miike gives his opinions on Hercules and how he feels that, you know, it should be nerfed. I mean, like, we've talked about this before about how Hercules is a bit of a problem. On the 52nd-ish mark, Kabam also say that the state of the battle realm, which I don't know if you remember, it was the like map of kind of like champions that could be coming into the game. The puzzle, which we used to cover a bit on this channel, is no more. They're not going to do that anymore. Whether or not they do the kind of beehive combs that they did before recently, that more than likely will set the precedence moving forward. On the 53rd minute mark, Kabam mentioned that roadmaps, they probably won't be doing them anymore. I think these dev diaries are slightly better when it comes to a specific type of issue. I did remember, do you guys remember the time when I used to cover the dev diaries and where we were up to? I actually kind of like just found my old spreadsheet on the matter, funnily enough. And there are a lot of stuff that I think I need to kind of like to go back to, because some things have changed, some things are not applicable to it, and of course, you know, me holding a Kabam accountable for delivering stuff is another thing. But I think this is always very interesting, because it in some ways reminds Kabam that players wanted this stuff and they would like to see when these things come in. And to be honest, a lot of it has actually come in. So look, fair play. Yeah, some things haven't, like, you know, variant 9s, but here's the thing. Kabam have said in like chats that we heard recently, like, Kabam were looking to do something with back issues, and going forward, maybe it's a case in the future they get the variants back working. Who knows with that that particular subject. Also, Battle Realm Brawl 2 that was talked about, and that is something that they are going to look to do in the new year. 10 years of the game. Will it be a case we'll be seeing something around about that time? Maybe not. But yeah, a Kabam meetup, maybe attending more Comic-Cons. They talk about that, which is good. That's around about the 55-minute mark. Also, around about an hour 6 into the show, there's talk about Apothecary. And bad news, Apothecary is not getting any additional revives. So that's annoying, but I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? You're going to have to like farm more units and farm revives, and kind of like the more solo eventy type of way. Yeah, get more units and stuff like that. Not exactly ideal, but look, this is where we're going to be at. And the final thing that Kabam were talking about, around about 1 hour and 9 minutes, was that the Necropolis is now up to 6.5 million deaths. Now, does that give any hope to hitting some of these huge numbers? I don't think we will do when it comes to the Titan crystals. But maybe I can, I don't know, maybe I can farm a load of revives and die multiple times in my runs, which I'm going to be doing towards the latter point of next week. I'm going to take a little bit of a break, I think, and just kind of like just chill, throw out a load of crystal openings, some videos that I want to get out, and yeah, just cover a load of stuff that I want to. Just chill really, because it's been pretty full on, especially this week. So yeah, and next week I think it's going to be equally full on. But in any case, that has been a MCN of the live stream from yesterday. If you want to go and check out the live stream, go and do it. It is 1 hour 30 minutes. It's a bit of fun, and as well some funny stuff happens, and as well very important information. So yeah, thanks very much for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Check out some other content. Have a lovely day, and there will probably be another video later on today. Thanks, and goodbye for now.